Hello everybody, it's Dr. Jensen and welcome to Terrorism class. Remember, this is not a how-to class. This is an about class. So I'm not teaching you how to build bombs or how to ruin people's lives. We're studying this phenomenon and this behavior from a criminologist perspective. But you need to keep in mind, I have students in this class from so many different majors. I have journalism majors. I have political science majors, economics, business, biology, psychology, sociology, criminology, history, international studies, European studies, just so many different areas that study this thing called terrorism. It's very interdisciplinary. So just realize there's something for everyone, I think, in this class. And you have to study culture, you have to study people, geography, to really get a sense of how all this works. So let's get started. I'll show you kind of how the class is organized, how to navigate Canvas and find all the things you're looking for class. And then we'll go through some modules. We'll look at the syllabus together so you can plan and prepare. And then we'll wrap up with some tips and tricks and answer questions. So let's jump in. All right, so this is the main splash page. And this is where you'll be navigating most of the time. Again, sometimes I have things that I need to update or change, and I try to stay on top of those, but if you find something that doesn't make sense or that is weird, please let me know. You're not going to offend me. I'm a human too, and I forget things or make mistakes. So we're going to jump into the modules, which are down here, or you can go to the module view here in the center. But let's start with Module 1, Responding to the Threat and Defining Terrorism. So I will move my window right up here. So essentially you'll be presented a brief description of what we're going to be covering in the module, and do not skip reading these because sometimes I put quiz questions that have to do with this. So make sure you do not skip it, and it'll help you get a sense of what you should be accomplishing in the module. Okay? Down here I have a series of tabs, and you want to work left to right in the tabs. So first our learning objectives, and then after that we have a think about it tab. So this is kind of like food for thought. The Think About It tab is also another thing that connects the material together, and it's also a way to maybe come up with some topics and talking points in your assignments. So this might be useful as you develop your future written responses, so don't skip it. Readings. So in here you'll see PDFs of articles or reports we're going to be looking at. I also have your textbook reading you need to get done for the week. And you can see, as I mentioned in the earlier video, the Welcome to Class video, I do have a PDF version of Chapter 1 of our Hoffman Inside Terrorism book. So that way, if you are waiting for this bad boy to arrive in the mail and it has not shown up yet, and you're like, crap, I have assignments to do, I have a quiz to take, and I haven't seen my book yet, at least you have a scanned copy of Chapter 1 so that you don't get behind while you're waiting on mail to bring this thing to your front door. Okay, so that is there for your convenience. After this week, I assume you should have your book by then. But again, let me know if you run into problems. Finally, we have the videos tab. This is where you're going to find your lecture videos that I've pre-recorded, as well as PowerPoint slides of those lecture videos. I have films that we're going to be watching. We're watching a film by the FBI called The Coming Storm. Again, I sometimes have notes like this, like, this contains a reenactment of a college campus shooting. If you have been a previous victim of a school shooting, have experienced trauma, or are concerned about anxiety that might be uncovered during the viewing, please contact me in advance. I'll provide an alternative assignment for you. So again, that just says sometimes some of the material and content we look at is very intense, and it might not be suitable for everyone. So again, I try to warn you when I can so that I can make sure that we don't trigger anything that's going to be traumatic or alarming for you to experience. So that is where you're going to find most of your material that you need to consume for the week. And then finally, at the very end, your activities tab. So right now you have a discussion post that you need to do as for helping me get to know you. You have quiz 1 that you need to finish at the end of the module. And we have a little anti-plagiarism quiz that you'll find a link to of how to do that. So we make sure we're citing properly and using sources properly. So it's kind of a light week other than the quiz for you to be working on this kind of stuff. So again, take really good notes during the videos. I'm perfectly fine with you sharing notes with classmates if you would like to. But you are responsible for your own work, and don't count on your classmates' notes to get you through a quiz, because they might not be adequate enough for what you're trying to do. Let's talk about quizzes though for a moment. So once you go to the quiz, you'll find that it's using HonorLock, right? So that is a software system that tries to make sure that the testing process is fair, and that you are not Googling all the answers or getting out of bounds help with the quiz or test you're taking. So if you're new to using HonorLock, let me know. There are practice quizzes you can take in HonorLock to test your browser settings to make sure everything is organized the way it should be and you don't get flagged for unauthorized browsing or whatever, and then end up being accused of cheating, right? So essentially, I let you open multiple tabs in Canvas so that you can reference your course materials. You can pull up PowerPoints, you can pull up videos, and you can look at them while you're taking your quiz. So using our course materials for your quiz is acceptable. However, there are some things you cannot do during the quiz, right? So you're not supposed to be using your cell phone during the quiz, those kind of things. And you can look at the settings. We'll talk about that closer to when you take your quiz. So that way you can prepare and know how to use your notes and use your book. You can certainly use a hard copy book during your quiz. I do allow for that. So it's essentially an open book, open note quiz, but it does have a timer, and you have to get your quiz done in a timely manner. So I tell people, your timer will not give you enough time to simply look up every answer. You will run out of time. So you have to get your reading done. You have to watch your videos so that you're familiar with everything. You've done the material. You know where to look. And basically, all you'll have time to do is reference things that maybe you're a little bit uncertain about. But you should pretty much know the answers to most of the questions because you've already looked at that material. Okay? So again, HonorLock is best used with a Chrome browser. And as we, again, get closer to using that tool to ensure that you're in a fair and cheating-free environment, we'll make sure your settings are in place to take care of that. So that's a little bit on the quizzes. I don't do a quiz every week. I do a quiz many weeks. Some weeks we don't quiz. So let's go to modules for a moment just to kind of show you some of what we have on the docket. So here's the first week right here and your due dates. And then we do have a quiz next week, but it's a little bit less work that we're doing. We're starting to go globally and look at about experiences of terrorism around the world. And then we have just basically a quiz the week after that. We have a lot of material that we're going through in these few weeks, and you want to be taking notes on that material because you're going to see it on the exam. So again, the exams, first exam comes up around the end of September on modules 1 through 4, and only modules 1 through 4. So I don't do cumulative exams, just on the material we've covered to date. Okay? But yeah, we're going to look at methods of studying terrorism. I'll go back home. We'll study theories of terrorism, social movements, media, types of terrorism, tactics. And then we have a big old chunk of our class dedicated to terrorism Europe. You're welcome, European Studies students. And then we'll look at religion and suicide terrorism, and then finally wrapping with counterterrorism strategies, which I always like ending a class like that because it's kind of like, instead of studying doom and gloom and hopelessness all semester, we end on a good note where we can try to do something productive and preventative with, something a little bit happier and more pleasant. Like, how can we contain the threat and figure this out so that we can save lives? So that's how we'll wrap the course. Let's jump into the syllabus. So again, 3 credit hours, and you can click on the syllabus link. Here's your course summary that has all your due dates and all your items. By and large, most things are due Sunday night, but you'll see there's a few Thursdays thrown in here and there, kind of to mix things up a little bit so you don't have everything due on one day. And then kind of toward the end of the semester, we had to shuffle things just a little bit on a Monday, just because of final exam schedules. So let's look at the syllabus, and we'll go through some more course policy kind of stuff. And I'm going to expand this view a little bit. If I can get it a little bit bigger. So here's the class. This is the description. We live in a global society. People use violence as messaging. That's largely what terrorism is about. My office hours are 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday through Friday. So you can pretty much reach me mornings through about lunchtime every day. And again, you can text me or call me if you want to set up something outside of that. There's my bio, and I'm not liking this view, so I'm going to pause for a moment and give us a better view. Okay, sorry about that. Thank you for your patience. I got a little bit better view for us to go through. So again, here's the syllabus and my office hours. I'm not largely on campus. I'm remote like you, so I don't really live anywhere near Gainesville at all. So you won't really find me in Turlington Hall. But again, you can call me and text me to make arrangements for meetings if you would like. This is a little bit about me. This is my bio if you want to look at it. I'm not going to go through that in detail. Here's our textbook and the edition you need, the ISBN number that you're looking for if you're trying to order it. Again, you can also get the ebook available from Columbia. That's the publisher, Columbia University. So that's an option as well. These are our course learning objectives. Okay. And this just kind of goes through some of the things we're going to talk about. I'm not going to, again, go through that in detail, but you can look at that later. Exams, we're going to do 3 exams. They're open book, open note. I'm developing more questions for the exams this semester as I'm adding new material, so just keep that in mind. I do use HonorLock exam proctoring, and I talk about how to make sure you get the Google Chrome extension downloaded so you can do that. And then support for HonorLock for campus and how to prepare your settings before you go in and take a quiz or an exam. Okay, so that's all available ahead of time before you jump in. Short writing assignments and papers. This is a list of some of what we're going to be doing. These comprise about 21%, approximately 40% of the grade. I'm kind of tweaking this a little bit right now. Just because I'm trying to change some of the quizzes and exams a little bit. So that might change later on in the semester, and I'll notify you with a course message, a class message, so that way you can prepare. But we're doing lots of cool assignments that I think are really applied and kind of fun to think about as far as if we were to design a terrorism study, how would we do that? What are some theories of terrorism? Let's compare and contrast them. Let's look at different campaigns for prevention. So these are kind of some cool things. Yes, I will have you take the U.S. citizenship practice exam to see if you can pass it. So anyway, those are some things we're going to be doing. These are the modules, and roughly speaking, when we're going to be covering the modules, so you can kind of plan when we do things. One other thing I'll show you is I always like to take a UF academic calendar and kind of put like numbers by each week. So I remember, okay, let's see, we're in the 3rd week of September, or the 4th week, that's actually week 5 in my class. We're in the last week of October, that's week 10. The week before Thanksgiving is week 13, so that's where I should be at. So if this helps you, this might be good to do. Again, you can find this document on the registrar website, and then you can literally print it out and put numbers next to them. So that way you can keep track of this is week 1, this is week 2, this is week 3. So basically every week in fall semester, I number. So the last week of classes is week 16, and then the week after that is final exams. So this will help you keep track of what week we're on, and me as well. And I always send out weekly reminders and your to-do list for the week, so that way you know what to work on. Okay, getting back to the syllabus and the modules and the pacing. Most assignments are due on Thursdays and Sundays by 11:59. You can work ahead when possible. You always want to check in with me a little bit before you do that, because I may have unpublished or taken down an item because I'm working on it and making some changes to it, and I wouldn't want you to start it and then lose that time and effort and work because I put a new version up. So again, check in with me if you want to work ahead, because some of you travel and some of you are out, or you're anticipating some of that this semester and you want to kind of get stuff done and out of the way before you leave. So again, just check in and we can try to make that available for you when possible. Quizzes, your discussion boards, your exams. So technically we do have a final, but again, it's not cumulative. Here's the grading scale for the class. These are the individual assignments we're going to be doing for class. So a little less than 40%. It's kind of a third, a third, a third. Exams, activities, and assignments, and quizzes. So there really isn't any one thing that's going to sink the ship as far as your grade. So that way, if you're better at papers and not so good as a quiz taker, you can still score well in the class. Maybe you're better at quizzing and you're not as good at papers. So that way your grade's distributed across lots of different ways to show me your mastery. These are just links for current UF grading policies and so forth. Again, hopefully you're going to be one of these little gators at the end of the semester. Some of you are graduating, so again, congratulations. I love this keyboard. I think it's the coolest thing ever. It's not my keyboard, but I wish it was. Okay, these are just kind of course policies. Make sure you maintain communication with me. There are numbers for the help desk, your required textbook. The Hoffman book is right there. You'll get to see Hoffman lecture. He's a really cool guy, very intelligent. He briefs Congress on all kinds of things. So, yeah, you'll get to see him in action this semester. Kind of guidelines for communicating online, materials, student rights and responsibilities. If you do need academic accommodations, please send those to me in advance. Obviously, in an online course, I don't take attendance. It's asynchronous, but I'm going to look at your regular and active participation, and I can see where you click in Canvas. So if I can see you're really not doing a lot in the class and you're flunking, then I'm going to say, hey, what's going on? And then again, these are campus resources like You Matter, We Care, Health and Wellness, Counseling, Careers, Teaching and Tutoring Center, the Writing Center, libraries, Assault Recovery Services, UF Police, and those kind of things. So again, this is just kind of the typical syllabus information you see in class. These are some technology things, so help desk number, again, academic dishonesty, assignment policies, make sure you cite, make sure you don't just cut and paste other people's work. That's why I do a plagiarism quiz at the beginning of each semester, to make sure we're all on the same page with understanding our responsibility to properly attribute using someone's work. Course evaluations, which will come at the end of the semester. I look for university-recognized reasons for makeup work. Obviously, we're still in a COVID semester, and there will be some things that are out of our control, but we'll do our best to try to accommodate you and give you a fighting chance to try to complete your stuff with an ever-changing world that we live in right now. But again, just as much communication as possible, and I will accommodate you where I possibly can. Realize there might be some times where I can't do that, but I'm on your side. I'm going to try to make this work for everybody. COVID policy, again, we'll have Zoom available if you'd like to meet via Zoom. I don't force people to turn on their camera if they don't want to, although I do like to see you, so I know you're a real human being that has a nose, eyes, and a mouth. These are our criminology outcomes that we talked about, where we want to help you develop these skills. This is Zoom etiquette. Make sure you're dressed properly, use virtual backgrounds responsibly, you know, just kind of like good etiquette for using Zoom and camera sharing and stuff like that. So I'm not going to go through that in detail, but again, using good Zoom etiquette. This is our course schedule, so this is just kind of the document version of what's already on Canvas. If you're someone that likes to print this out and cross stuff off or check boxes, this page is for you. All right, so that's our semester, and I'm excited to be sharing everything in this class with you. Again, I'm anticipating making changes to some material as this class changes every semester. Again, dealing with Afghanistan, the 20-year anniversary of 9/11. We have lots ahead of us to tackle. So, again, I'll try to update you whenever possible as to what to prepare for, or, hey, don't work on this yet because I'm actually adding some new things. So just be patient. But I hope you enjoy the class. It's kind of a fan favorite in our department. I've had good evaluations, good feedback from students on how to make it better, and that's important to me. So I look forward to this upcoming fall semester. We'll see you soon.